Today we're talking to St Albans City manager Ian Allinson at a sun-kissed Clarence Park, but the sun on the pitch won't be matched by sunny smiles off it. A 1-0 defeat today, and it sends us to the bottom of National League South. First half I thought we offered little, keep made one good save. Second half we gave it a decent go going forward, but we didn't get the breaks, and their keeper Ryan Clark, he was in good form.
Yeah, I think you summed it up, David. I felt we was a little bit still off the pace a little bit first half. I felt we gave ourselves by playing a little bit too deep, but again, you know, the confidence isn't fantastic at the moment because of the position we're in. So the only way you can build confidence is by keeping clean sheets, winning games of football, and starting to climb the league. So, you know, second half we said that, you know, we need to be a bit more on the front foot. We need to pass the ball a bit more. We need to be a bit more aggressive in what we were doing, and we did that. And you know, we could have quite easily come away with a point at least today with the chances we created in that last 15-20 minutes. Still felt we conceded a poor goal at a poor time. We sort of weathered the storm for 15-20 minutes, got back into the game. I felt we were starting to play a little bit further up the pitch, and then gave the goal away, and then the confidence sort of went again for 5-10 minutes. They could have quite easily got a second, but I felt, you know, after that we got them in at half time, we settled them down, we made the changes, and I felt second half we were a bit unfortunate not to come away with something there. We hit the crossbar. As you say, the keeper's made a couple of really good saves. We've had one or two balls bobbling around the box, and at other times, you know, they might go in. Unfortunately, they've not today, which is a blow. But again, we have to look at all the things that we're doing and where to improve, because we have to improve. As I've said all along, you know, no one wants to sit at the bottom of the table, so we've got to improve. But there is only one way forward, and that's up, because, you know, points are important at this stage of the season, and we haven't got enough in return for the amount of games we've played.
You made 5 changes today, including the 2 central defenders taken out. We still can't get a second clean sheet of the season. We had one on the opening day and nothing since.
Yeah, but I felt, you know, we defended a lot better than what we've done in the previous 3 or 4 games. You know, we've been letting 3 or 4 goals in, and our goalkeeper's probably been man of the match. I mean, just spoke to Dean then. He's had 1 save to make with his feet in the second half. So that's a progress in terms of that. But we've got to take it forward, as I said before. You know, it's no good, you know, coming in and defending better than what we've done in the previous 3 or 4 games. But that comes from everybody. We have to defend properly in midfield and from the front. And you know, just by giving the 2 centre halves a bit of a break today, probably allowed them to have a look at where they were in terms of some of the mistakes that we've been making, and we tried to eradicate that today. And I felt the centre halves did well. I just felt Lewis could have stopped the cross for their goal. He got dragged out a little bit. I felt he could have got closer to their guys, allowed him to get the cross in, and then you have to question, you know, how the fellas got in between 2 of our people and scored the goal. And I think if you look how they defended in the last 15-20 minutes, and every single one of their players defended for their lives. They threw bodies in, they threw blocks in, you know, the one Zane's had where he looks like he's going to score, and the lads just threw himself in front of it and blocked it. And you know, sometimes you've got to make your own luck, and the only way you do that is being brave, being on the front foot, and trying to take the game to the opposition. And as I say, I felt we did that last sort of 20-25 minutes, which wasn't good enough again. We've hit the crossbar, and when it's come out, it's gone to them. They've cleared it. It could have quite easily gone to the 3 or 4 players we had in the box. We've created 4 or 5 corners in that last 15-20 minutes where in the first half we were a little bit too deep, I felt, and didn't really go and engage ourselves in the game. But as I say, we've got to pick ourselves up. But I see a lot of positives in that last 15-20 minutes, which was good. But we've got to make sure that, you know, we've got to win games. We've got to get Joe back fit, because I felt we missed him, especially in the first half today. We didn't get up the pitch because we didn't have anyone going in behind with blistering pace, and Joe's got that. And I felt we missed him, especially in the first half today.
You mentioned Lewis Knight. You got him back on loan from Maidstone United for a month.
Yeah, I think it's just as I say, we know what we're going to get with Lewis. You know, he's going to head it and kick it for us. He'll be tight and he'll be organised. I felt we got that performance from him today. I felt Frankie Masuda, who's coming from, also did a great job for us. He looks really calm, and he's very good on the ball. And I felt the defensive side of it was a lot better today than what it's been in the last couple of weeks. But as I say, there's still loads of things we need to work on. We haven't scored enough goals all season, and until probably the last 20-25 minutes today we hadn't really created many chances. But I felt in that last sort of 20-25 minutes we created sort of 5 or 6 really good chances, and a little bit more in terms of composure, or a little bit more in the finish. We could have quite easily come away with at least a point today.
You mentioned Frankie as well. He got in on from loan from Luton Town. He's got a bit of experience of this level. He's with Oxford City and Hemel Hempstead Town last year.
Yeah, he's
So
played
he knows
32
league.
games. I spoke to 3 or 4 people about him, and and they're all very complimentary about the boy and what he can do and where he can play. He can play midfield, he can play right back, so it's a good acquisition to our squad in terms of where we are. But as I said today, I felt we defended a lot better, and it tells me in terms of the returns in terms of what Dean's had to do today. Dean Snedker, in that he's had one save to make with his feet and pick the ball out of the net for the other one, and he hasn't really had much to do. So positives in that side of it. Obviously negatives, we've got beat. Negatives, we haven't scored a goal, and negatives, we're bottom of the league. So we have to try and pick positives out of it and try and turn the negatives into a positive. And the only way they do that, as I said last week, you roll your sleeves up, you make tough decisions and get on with it, and we've made tough decisions this week. We've brought 3 in. Tommy Brewer's still got 1 more game suspension, but he'll be with us in sort of 10 days time. So again, players are under massive pressure now in terms of performances, and we have to do that as we go into the second stage of the season.
Yeah, Tommy Brewer there, signed from Tunbridge Angels, a 3-match ban. He's got 1 more to go, so he misses a Welling game. What does he, or where will he fit into the side?
Well, he's a competitive midfield player. Who'll sit in midfield and protect the back 4 for us. But also he's got a good energy. He passes the ball really well, and he's very good in the air. So he'll just give us something slightly different to what we haven't got at the moment. But it's it's that side of it that we've got to try and protect, and then we've got to try and get our front 3, 4 to go and score the goals, because we need, as I said all along, you don't win nothing in football unless you score goals, because you can't keep relying on clean sheets. And we've got to make sure that our forwards now start turning some of the opportunities we've got into goals. As I say, we've had 4 or 5 good opportunities today, and we haven't done that. But that's the first time I felt we've allowed ourselves to be in the game with 20 minutes to go, and we took a bit of a chance. We threw bodies forward, and as I say, when I come off there today, and I felt the players put a good shift in today, and that's the most pleasing thing. I still think 1 or 2 are playing with a little bit of lack of confidence, and we've got to get that back in their game. I felt Tom Bender put a couple of poor crosses in today, and when the crosses have come in and gone behind the goal, his head's gone down, and he's got to get his head up, because for some of the stuff that Tom does in the defensive side of it, makes up for some of the stuff that we do in the final third, and he has to realise that when he puts that cross in, if he doesn't go in, he's got to get his head up and get on with what he's doing, because the concentration level is he's got to keep a clean sheet. So he's in the side to keep a clean sheet. Whatever we do going bonus, we just need a little bit more in quality from our crosses, quality from our fullbacks. But we started to get that, I felt, in that last 20 minutes, and a little bit of fortune, a little bit of luck, we might have nicked something today.
With 10 goals in 16 games, missing Joey Schifano today was a big blow. We needed somebody else to score, because I don't think anybody else has got more than 1. It looked like in that last minute Sam Merson was going to get his first goal of the season, 14th game, but that was a cracking save.
Yeah, I think there was 2 saves. I think it was the half volley that the keeper's tipped over the bar, but also the header in the last minute that's gone straight to the keeper. He's dropped it, and Lewis has put in a rebound, and the keeper's reacted great. So again, we just got to say that we've not been. He's hit the target, Sam, and that's all we can ask for at the end of the day. And in the past, and you've been around long enough, David, you know when Sam strikes them balls, 9 times out of 10 they've ended up in the back of the net. We've said it all along. We haven't mentioned Lewis Taylor Miles' free kick, where the keeper's come across and made a fantastic save. Another half a yard to the left, maybe, and it goes in. But they're all the little things you've got to look back at. Their keeper's made 3 or 4 really good saves today and kept them in the game. Where, as I say, Dean's had 1 save to make with his foot, and that was the only probably opportunity he's had to save. The rest of it, was gone past the post, or he's not had to do a lot. And we've ended up losing 1-0. But their keeper's probably ended up getting a man of the match, I would say, making them 3 saves later on.
Oh, City, one of the pre-season favourites. They started with 3 straight wins, but first 25 minutes, like us, didn't really create an awful lot. They got that goal, should have had more by half time, as you said earlier, but they didn't look the side I think many people would have tipped at the start of the season.
No, I think the manager and a bit, we spoke at the start there, and speaking to Jerry, he's had to change 4 or 5 players as well, and we lost. He lost 1 to Bristol Rovers, he lost 1 to Havant and Waterlooville. Somebody I think it was the lad Batten, got cruciate ligaments just before the start, and it's difficult to replace some of these players, and I think you've seen where we are in terms of some of the players that have left us, and you bring new players in. I watched Cardiff last night, and they were saying that they've had to bring sort of 5 or 6 players in, and it just doesn't seem that the pattern of play is really gelled, or the players haven't gelled, and it's a bit like ourselves at the moment. We don't seem to have much consistency in our performances, and whether it's because the new players we brought in, whether it's because the players we brought in haven't quite been as good as the players that we lost. But again, we've said it all along. you lose 4 or 5 players every single season. You have to rebuild every single season, and this is the situation I think we find ourselves in again now. Is that, you know, for everything we're doing, you know, we've got to try and change things around and try and get a winning mentality back into the side. And the only way you do that, as I've said, is to work hard and play with confidence. And the mentality and the winning mentality will come back when you turn the corner and get 1 or 2 victories on the road or at home. But you know, certainly our home form hasn't been good enough this year. And as I say, our away form's been slightly better. But you know, 2 wins out of 14 games, as I said last week, and I'll say it again now. That's not a good return in terms of where we are. So the whole club, in terms of myself, and I'll always include myself in that, and the players have to be better than what we've been in the past, because that's just not a really good return for what we've done. Been some of our own worst enemies. Some of our defending has been really poor, but we haven't scored enough goals, and that's probably the one thing we've always done in the 3.5 years I've been here, is always scored goals, and at the moment we're not scoring enough goals. So if we can stop the ball going into the back of our net, then the confidence might come back and the players can start scoring goals. Because, you know, with Sam Merson 2 years ago, I think he was the 3rd goal scorer in the league. Joe's certainly up there with this season. Albert showed enough when he came on today that, you know, we've missed him the last 3 or 4 games with his knee injury. So we've got players that can score goals, but you also got to look at your midfield areas and your defenders that have got to be weighing in with sort of 6 or 7 goals between them in a season. And at the moment, you know, I think it's 4 goals apart from the 10 that Joe's got, and the return from everybody in the side hasn't been good enough.
3 players brought in this week. Any gone or going?
That's something we've got to sit down and look at this week in terms of moving maybe 1 or 2 on, or getting 1 or 2 out on loan, and having a look at it from that side of it. But again, as I've said all along, is that I think we've been very patient with the squad. We've given them all an opportunity, and we spoke last week about 10 games. We've now gone 13, 14 games, and the returns we've had hasn't been good enough. You know, the goals against column hasn't been good enough. The goals for column hasn't been good enough. So we've got to start somewhere. You've got to stop conceding goals. If you stop conceding goals and you start winning games of football, the confidence and everything that you've got about you will start coming back. But you know, we can't continue this slide that we've been on for the last couple of weeks very much longer, because you know, you'll start leaving yourself with the mountains to climb. And at the moment we've got to stay in touch with the 3 or 4 above us. We know there's only 2 going down this year, which is a bonus, but as I say, you've got to stay in touch with some of the clubs above you. We mustn't let that gap open too much, and that means we've got to go to Welling next week and try and get all 3 points.
Prior to that game at Welling, we've got a Hearts Charity Cup tie away to Hemel Hempstead Town on Tuesday. I guess Tommy Brewer can play in that.
We're actually checking the rules. We're not quite sure, so we'll have to look at that. But yeah, you're right. I was told today that he can, but I've asked Lee to check it with the Hearts FA where we are with it. We're not quite sure, but we'll hopefully have some answers by tomorrow for that one.
What about the rest of the team for Tuesday? But some of the players are on the bench. Give them 90 minutes.
Well, yeah, but I've, you know, the same thing, David. I've got to try to start winning football matches, and it's not about me giving people games now. I think some of the players have had a lot of games. They've had a great opportunity to show me how good they are, and now it's about me trying to concentrate on the players that we've brought in, concentrate on the players that we've got, and try and get them up to speed in terms of winning football matches. So we will go there with a full squad. We'll go there with everybody available, and we'll have to see on the day who's carrying a couple of knocks, who's not. But as I say, we've got to turn this season around really quickly, and for me it starts on Tuesday in the Hearts Charity Cup, where we've got to try and gain a victory, because just even in them little competitions will give us a bit of confidence to take into the Welling game on Tuesday, next Saturday.
Lovely, thanks so much, Ian. Good luck with the 2 games this week. So the first one, as Ian mentioned, is on Tuesday night over at Vauxhall Road, Hearts Charity Cup, away to Hemel Hempstead Town. Kick-off 7:45, that's on the 22nd of October. And next Saturday, the 26th, we're down at Parkview Road in Welling United, down in Kent, at 3 o'clock kick-off in National League South.